game last night, right? I know you weren't involved in terms of play, but just watching it and talking to the fellas this morning, I mean, were there things that you took from that in terms of maybe the intensity and the way that the Maori All Blacks played, that kind of put your mind thinking into the game that's coming started?
Yeah, I guess it's always things you can learn from every game. I mean, yeah, with the Maori All Blacks were pretty impressive. They were very physical, took their chances really well, which I think is the same thing we can expect from New Zealand on Saturday. But I think looking back and kind of we did a bit of a review of the game earlier, I think a lot of the stuff was within our control. I thought discipline could have been better. It was small little things that you can't really get wrong. And the game, the second half, then we came out and put a much better performance. But I suppose the game was probably a bit away from us at that stage. But certainly there'll be things we can learn from it, and there's always positives to every loss that you can take a few learnings from it. So hopefully we'll do that for Saturday.
And how would you describe where you are now? You know, just a couple of days away from it, having travelled from Ireland to get here. I mean, there must be huge degree of excitement within the camp that you're together again and be playing a that.
Yeah, for sure. I think everyone's just buzzing to get playing. We've been here for a week and a bit now, and it's it's nice to see New Zealand and be training, but you don't really want to be training when we're playing games. So really excited to get stuck into it now on Saturday.
And just in terms of New Zealand and their team, I mean, they've got an outstanding record at equal part, and it's a pretty formidable place to go and play a game.
Yeah, it's one of those grounds around the world that you would have watched on TV, and it's one of the great grounds that you want to play at. And I suppose the record that they have there makes it all the more special to play and to give it our all. So very, very excited personally anyway to get to play in the ground, and it's a great opportunity for us.
I ask you about the New Zealand team and the makeup of it, particularly that back row. I mean, certainly when you look at the three names that are there, it must be, it certainly gets your kind of think of the challenges.
Big time, yeah. 3 big names, 3 very experienced players, 3 top quality players. Obviously Barrett, we haven't seen too much of him at 6 recently. He's a big man, obviously the leader for Crusaders, off the back of the success there. So I'm sure confidence will be high. He's playing good rugby this season. Probably weren't expecting him to see him at 6, but yeah, it'll be exciting going up against him. Obviously Caelan as well, squad captain, quality player, really good poacher, nuisance at the breakdown. Artie Sabea, pretty much an all-rounder. He's been at the top of his game for the last number of years, and he's one of the best back rows in the world. So it's definitely an exciting challenge for the lads who get the opportunity to go up against them. I know the two of us are pretty excited anyway. It was the same in the Aviva in November, top quality players, so yeah, we're going to have to be at our best.
Now you know what it takes to beat a team like New Zealand outside of New Zealand, running Chicago or in Dublin. What's it going to take to beat them here in this country?
Yeah, it's obviously not the end of their season like it was last time. They're in their comfort zone, they're unbeaten in Eden Park, they've got that track record there. But it's massively exciting for us as well to come over to their backyard, the best nation in the world, and try and create a bit of history by winning there. I think it's 28 years since they've been beaten, so it'd be a pretty special thing to do, and our guys are very excited to try and do that. In terms of what it's going to take an 80-minute performance, being at our best for all of it. We know we are going to need to be better than we were in November, and we think we've taken some strides there.
And do you think that you need to be on both hits about less predictable? Do you need to have the element of surprise?
Yeah, I think probably the way we train, there's quite a bit of unstructured stuff, so it's sort of inherently unpredictable at times. And I think the longer we train like that, the more instinctive we get with each other, but there's still variation in what we're doing. So I think we're getting hopefully the best of both there. Cheers.
Caelan.
Yep.
It's interesting what you're saying about the reference to 28 years. The fact that Ireland have beaten the All Blacks for the first time in recent times, the fact that they've beaten South Africa away for the first time ever, 2016, 2 Grand Slams in the last 13 years. And before that it was 1948. have we reached the point now where we don't have an inferiority complex no matter where we play and no matter who we play against?
I think so, yeah. I think there's huge belief in individuals, in ourselves, in each other, in what the coaching staff are trying to do in some of the games and performances we've had over the last 18 months or so. So I think there's massive belief building, and I think we genuinely believe that if we get our stuff right and we perform to our capability, we can beat whoever we play on the day. So it's pretty exciting being in that sort of space. I think it's probably evolved quite a bit over the last number of years. And yeah, it's an exciting place to be.
Josh, when people like us talk about history and talk about, it's almost free as a daunting thing. For players, is it actually the opposite? This is opportunity, this is something to embrace, something to be excited about, to be the first team to do it.
I think so, for sure. I mean, certainly my mindset, and I know Caelan's the same, is big excitement. I mean, they're the games where we're all competitive people. It's probably why we've ended up playing sport for a living. It's what we want to do. You want to play in the big games. You want to play in the hard games, and I suppose the more that's up against you, the more rewarding a victory would be, I guess, and the more of a challenge it is then as well. So certainly it's a very exciting prospect. It's exactly what you'd want. I don't think it would be quite the same if we'd played here before and won a few times before. I think it's as Caelan had said there, playing New Zealand in New Zealand is exactly where you want to do it. It's obviously we've had wins against them when they've been away from home, so it's certainly the challenge is upped a bit, but it's where we want to be.
Is history actually completely irrelevant? I know people are talking about 1994. I mean, having nothing to do with you guys, the previous defeats that other countries have had, zero relevance really to.
I suppose. I mean, they're nice challenges to have. I suppose the thought of making history, that kind of thing, can certainly be a motivator. But I think when it comes down to it, when what are we now? 2 days, 48 hours or so or a bit more from the match, and it's just about everyone focusing, making sure they're ready to perform, put in our best performance, and you're kind of not really thinking about it at that stage. It's more how can we perform as well as we can, execute on our game plan, and I suppose that's probably the focus from here on in. But I suppose sitting in the back of our minds, certainly that there is those motivations.
What was your initial reaction to Scott Barrett being named at 6?
He's a great player. I wasn't really sure what back row they'd come up with. I was pretty certain Sam Cane had started anyway, and Artie Survey would be somewhere in the back row for sure. But he's a brilliant player. Great line-out option, and I saw they've gone with two back rows then on the bench. So leaves their option quite open. It's good. They have good strong line-out with him in there, and I think whoever of all they were going through the different players and options they could have had during the week for back row, and I think across all of them they're all world-class players, and I think all of them are good at ball carrying, all of them can offload, all of them can hit hard, so I think they've certainly good options. So whoever you come across, we knew it would be tough, but Scott Barrett is a very, very good player, so it'll certainly be a good test.
Is that the same for you?
Yeah, no, it's pretty exciting coming up against them. I think what's impressive about all their back rows, they're spoiled for choice, but I think what's impressive about them all is the varied skill set they have. They're all capable of doing everything a back row needs to do. Even Scott Barrett, I know he plays a lot of second row, but he's very athletic. He's capable of giving good plus passes at the line, capable of carrying very hard and getting turnovers as well. So as well as, like Josh said, around his line out capability, he's a bit of an all-rounder too. So it's exciting.
Do those COVID cases in the All Blacks camp sort of take away anything from your expectations for the weekend? Maybe missing a few key players that you would have liked to line up against, or anything at all, or it's just... focusing on the job ahead?
Yeah, I think focusing on the job ahead. If you look at their team, it's still incredibly strong. There's still some massive names in there, and it's still going to be a massive challenge. So I don't think we looked into it too much. It was sort of focus on ourselves and control what we can control.
Does the game last night help the nerves at all, or does it make it, hard to stomach?
I don't think so. I think it's always the same when even if you've played a few test matches in a row, or it's your first test match in a while, there'll still be those bit of nerves before, but certainly excitement. I think from the tour point of view, it's always good to get games underway. You're kind of training for a week or so. Can sometimes have a pre-season kind of element to it, just building and waiting to play. But yes, I mean, good to have the tour underway, but obviously not the result we would have wanted. But yeah, I'm sure that there'll still be a bit of nerves this weekend, but a lot of excitement.